Here we are in Bangkok, Thailand. This is the 27th of January, 2025, and the temperature is probably 85 degrees. And where are we? We're going to ride the Rot Medang. Now, what is that? That is a red bus, and it travels up and down Soi Sukhumvit 55, called Thong, back and forth, and the cost is only 8 baht. Now, what is 8 baht? Well, that's about 25 cents US. No AC, open windows. But here you get to smell, hear, and experience the full impact, the sounds and sights here of Thong. Now, the name Thong in Thai means molten gold. And the actual name came from a famous naval officer. His name was Thong Kam Hiran. Now, Thong, what we're calling Soi Sukhumvit 55, runs from the Thong BTS station, that's the Sky Train, on Sukhumvit Road, north to Petchaburi Road. Now, during the early 2000s, it became increasingly trendy with its boutiques, restaurants, bars, condos, and had significant Japanese and expat communities develop. This vibrant location has been popular among different families, both here in Thailand and from abroad, the new rich, and of course, expatriates. Now, this Thong is about a 2-kilometer strip, and the bus just goes to the end of Thong, makes a U-turn, and comes back. And the idea is it's 8 baht to travel from one end to the other. And it's still 8 baht no matter where you get on or get off. And sometimes I see people sitting on the bus and they go a couple of stops and get off. Seems like they could have walked in the time they sat there waiting for the bus to start. Now, there are several red buses, so what happens when you get on one, it's kind of waiting for the next one to come up, and then it pulls away. And then the one that's sitting at the stop will then wait there about 20 minutes to load up with passengers. Now, this is about 7 o'clock in the evening, and the red bus, it stops at 8 p.m. So the last bus is at 8 p.m. Now, there we see quite an array of vehicles. One thing that's interesting about Thailand is the Thai government has a substantial tariff, actually 100% tariff, on import vehicles. In other words, if you want to sell a car in Thailand that's made in Germany, Japan, or the US, the Thai government says, well, how much are you going to charge for this car? And that is going to be the tariff. Now, you see a lot of BMWs and Mercedes, Toyotas and Hondas, and if you open the door and you look at the manufacturing plate, which is actually a decal, it clearly states the vehicle is made in Thailand. What? Yes, Mercedes, BMW, Honda, Toyota, and others actually have large assembly plants there in Thailand. So many of these, quote, luxury cars, they're made in Thailand. I've heard the statement, the official vehicle of Thailand is the BMW. Well, how can that be? Well, they're made in Thailand. So that's interesting. So I see a lot of nice vehicles. Now, you'll notice that motorcycles make up about, I would say, probably if you sit there and count them, about 50% of the traffic. The weather is always warm in Thailand, and when it rains, the rain is warm too. So you'll see an awful lot of motorcycles on the roads. Now, we're making our way down the Thong, and we're seeing some of the stores and the lights. Now, sometimes in the heavy traffic, you say, well, you could have walked faster than you rode. Well, I certainly am not going to argue with that. But here you can sit there comfortably and look at the sights and hear the sounds. Now, this is January, and January, February in Thailand is very pleasant. It's kind of like Southern California. There's very little rain, and the temperature drops to the high 70s at night, can climb into the 90s during the day, but because of the temperature swing and no rain, the humidity is very low, and you feel very comfortable. However, whoop, there's our sister red bus going by. But in the monsoon season, the humidity can be very, very high, and your perspiration does absolutely nothing to cooling you. So you'll find that you're soaking wet with perspiration and still very uncomfortable. But not now. This is the dry season, and we're very comfortable. There's a beautiful Mercedes. You open that door, and you'll find it's made in Thailand. That's right. So here we have quite an array of vehicles. Now, when I say made in Thailand, Thailand stipulates that if you're going to assemble a car in Thailand, it has to be what's called a complete knockdown kit. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means you're supposed to send all of the little pieces there and let Thailand assemble them. But unfortunately, it seems like they kind of cheat, because when you open up the shipping container, it's full of completed engines and transmissions and all kinds of components that are already all put together. All you have to do is just finish the assembly. Now, one idea here in Thailand is, remember, they don't have a stringent environmental protection agency. There's really a very limited OSHA. They stress safety, but not unreasonably so. So to actually build a factory and to hire workers in Thailand, yes, is there such thing as a United Auto Workers? Not in Thailand. So really, this is a good place to have an automobile factory. And strangely enough, a lot of the vehicles that are assembled in Thailand are actually for export. Yes, that's right. They leave and go to other countries. And many of them are the neighboring countries like Laos, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Cambodia. So there we go. Now, there is one exception to that tariff rule, and that is electric vehicles from China. What happened is Thailand, trying to be green and to kind of, how should I say it, cooperate with the idea of electrification and reducing air pollution, they've agreed to allow Chinese electric vehicles to come into Thailand without the stiff tariff. And as a result, many electric vehicles like the BYD and Great Wall Motors and Tesla. Now remember, these are Chinese Teslas. They're all priced very reasonably. And if you're driving the car within Thailand, in Bangkok, and you're not going to drive more than 200 or 300 miles max at a time, then hey, it's a good idea. But if you want to take the car up north or to the east or to the west, it may be difficult finding a charging station. Now, some of these cars, you'll notice that you'll see something very interesting. Like, for instance, on the Mercedes, I see an S300D, a 3-liter diesel engine and an S-Class Mercedes. There's no such thing. Oh, yes, there is in Thailand. That's right. Also, some of the Lexus and Toyota brands, they have rather interesting names. One is the Alfred. This sounds like, is that Batman's butler? No, it's the name of a star in the heavens, the lone star, the Alfred. And if you look at it, it's spelled a little different than the name, but that's also a popular luxury vehicle here in Thailand. Well, let's see, we're riding along, we're getting close to the end, and When we get to the end, we'll exit the red bus. The bus will just reposition itself, wait about 10, 15, 20 minutes max until another red bus, there we see it passing, comes in behind it, and then it will pull away and make the trip back in the other direction. So 25 cents, 8 baht, probably, depending upon traffic, not much faster than walking, but certainly it's a way to kind of look at the world pass by. So here we go. And there we see all the vehicles passing. And you'll notice a lot of them are brand new. We see some rather these exotic late model cars. There's another red bus. Now, all red buses are not the same, but this one was a nice one.